Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Good 5 Cent Cigar Newscast. I'm Sadie Brandt. Thank you so much for joining us. This week we discuss dietary options on campus and explore a new exhibit at the Warwick Mall. And of course, David Okula will have all things Rhody athletics covered in this week's Rhody Sports Corner. For our top story, do you have concerns about dietary options on campus? Casey Chan-Smutko sat down with members of URI Dining Services to discuss how our dining halls accommodate those with dietary restrictions. Here's Casey with the story.
On-campus students rely on dining hall food to fulfill their meals, but what about those who have dietary restrictions? I spoke with dietitian nutrition specialist Karen Urbana and dining hall staff member Benjamin Blodgett to find out how they accommodate everyone and their dietary needs.
To accommodate our students that come to campus with a dietary restriction, I need to know about their dietary restriction. So a big part of my job is outreach and attending open houses, welcome days, orientation, and I'm always there to speak with students, and I never forget to ask the question, do you have any kind of dietary restriction, any kind of concern that we would need to address in terms of the foods that you prefer or are in need of having.
Dining halls have a allergen-friendly pantry, which Karen helps stock. With lots of gluten-free products, lots of dairy-free products. Beyond that, we do lots of gluten-free pasta. We have gluten-free bread for our deli stations. We do a gluten-free pizza shell. Basically, just about every station that we have has some offering to help to accommodate any of the top 9 major allergens. Anything more specific than that, we kind of work with Karen on a more one-on-one basis to make sure that we're sourcing products for that student.
According to Blodgett, dining staff is partnering with a consulting firm through a survey for student opinions about how they can improve food service on campus. This has been Casey Chan-Smutko with the Good 5 Cent Cigar. Back to you.
Thanks, Casey. The Warwick Mall has recently opened a new exhibit, Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel. The exhibition faithfully recreates all 34 of Michelangelo's ceiling and altar masterpieces using licensed high-resolution imagery and an advanced printing technique. Stephen Russo got an inside look of the new exhibit. Here's Stephen with more information.
Need a break from the hustle and bustle of campus life? Head down to the Warwick Mall, where there's a limited-time art exhibit displaying the timeless works of Renaissance painter Michelangelo, and it's only a short trip away. Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel Gallery opened for Warwick Mall patrons on October 17th and is located where the old Forever 21 is, very close to Target. The art gallery shows replicas of all Michelangelo's art that he painted on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in Rome back in the Renaissance. This exhibit featured many of his paintings of biblical scenes, biblical prophets, and even some of his most popular portraits, like the creation of Adam and the Last Judgment, both serving as top-tier exhibits to experience there. Be sure to go and see the artwork for yourself before January 17th, when the art exhibit will be leaving the Warwick Mall. Reporting for the Good 5 Cent Cigar, I'm Stephen Russo. Back to you.
Thanks, Stephen. Looking ahead, here's what's going on next week at URI. The Multicultural Center will be kicking off their Native American Heritage Month with a discussion panel today from 12 to 2 p.m. This year's panel will center on modern-day politics and its impact on Native American indigenous communities. Rhody Racing will host its fall 2025 car show at the University of Rhode Island on Saturday, November 8th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Fine Arts Lot. Auto enthusiasts and members of the URI community are invited to celebrate campus spirit and automotive culture at this showcase, which promises a diverse lineup of vehicles and a chance to connect with fellow car fans. Head over to URI Involved for more information. This upcoming Tuesday, November 11th, is Veterans Day. All offices will be closed and classes will not meet. With that, I'll hand it off to David Okula with this week's Rhody Sports Corner.
Thanks, Sadie. Hello and welcome to the Rhody Sports Corner, your place for all the latest updates across URI athletics. I'm David Okula. Women's soccer hosted a postseason game for the first time since 2016 on Friday when it took on VCU in the A10 quarterfinals. The Rams use a couple of first-half goals to pull off a 2-1 victory, picking up their first playoff win in 19 years and securing a spot in the conference semifinals. Max Peebles has the story from the URI soccer complex.
URI gets their first playoff win since 2006, beating VCU 2-1 in Friday night's match.
Early on, URI gets a chance on a Lauren McDonald corner. There's a scuffle inside the 6, but Mia Pongratz is able to make the save for VCU. Around the 30-minute mark, Lauren McDonald has another corner. Nika Jacobs gets her foot on it but sails it over the goal. Just moments later, Maya Carstensen has a shot on goal, but Mia Pongratz makes a miraculous save for VCU to keep the game at 0-0. In the 33rd minute, Lauren McDonald has an absolute strike on goal to put Rhode Island up 1-0 early on. Just minutes later, in the 36th minute, McKenna Sylvester puts a ball into the box that gets deflected to Sarah Yee, who puts the ball in the back of the net, making it 2-0 Rhode Island. Here's Sarah Yee on her recent success.
Second career goal in this game. You score your first career on senior night, and then you score your second career here today.
Yep.
You know, which one's more important?
Oh, God, definitely this one. I mean, I love the one on senior day. That one's more memorable. You know, my family's here. Everyone's there to support. But, I mean, this takes us to the next round. You know, it's a huge one. We want to stay in it as long as we can. So whatever we got to do to get there, we got to do.
Early into the second half, Hero McCloskey scores for VCU. However, after this point, URI is able to put on a defensive show and close the game out.
You know, we've always had a great season, so now obviously getting it done in the postseason is huge. You know, we've done a lot of things this year that the team hasn't done in a while, so this is just another thing to kind of add to that list. I think from the start, even though obviously it's been a while since we've won in the postseason, we knew, you know, we weren't just happy to be here, that we want to get wins and go as deep as possible. So,
For the Rhody Sports Corner, Max Peebles.
Thanks, Max. As for some other scores and results around campus this week, men's basketball kicked off its season with a convincing 93-62 win against Stetson at the Ryan Center on Monday. Women's basketball also began its season with a win on Monday, defeating Manhattan on the road by a score of 56-38. After its quarterfinal victory on Friday, women's soccer traveled to take on number 2 seed St. Louis in the A10 semifinals on Wednesday. Men's soccer finished its season with a road match against St. Louis on Saturday, where the Rams took home a 1-1 tie to fall just short of a postseason spot. Men's cross country finished third out of 14 teams at the Atlantic 10 Championship on Saturday, marking its first top 3 finish since 1980. Women's cross country also traveled to Cedarville, Ohio for the A10 Championship on Saturday, where the Rams finished in 10th out of 14 teams. Swim and dive dropped its second straight meet in a 188-112 loss against UConn at home on Saturday. Then the Rams took on in-state rival Providence on Wednesday. Finally, rowing completed its fall season by heading to New Jersey for the Princeton Chase on Sunday. That's all for this week's edition of the Rhody Sports Corner. To stay updated with all things URI athletics, follow us on X at @cigar_sports. Back to you, Sadie.
Thanks, David. That's all we have for you this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow us here for more weekly newscast. You can also follow us on Instagram at Rhody Cigar and pick up your print paper anywhere on campus to stay up to date with all your Rhody news. Find us online at rhodycigar.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Sadie Brandt. This is the Good 5 Cent Cigar Newscast, and as always, have a great week, Rhody.